The desert wind howls across the mountains of ancient Israel. Below, a mother cradles her newborn son. In the distance, a great lion roars, its presence felt like a rumble in the earth. Suddenly, a strange light glows above the village. It grows brighter and brighter, shaping itself into a majestic being of pure white light. She approaches the mother and child and says, "Your son is destined for greatness. Before he cuts his hair or tastes wine, he will become a Nazirite, set apart for the Lord. His strength will not come from muscle or bone, but from heaven itself." Then, just as quickly as she came, the angel vanished, leaving behind only the sound of crickets and the sound of the desert wind. Our story begins when Samson grew into a young man. He stood out among his people. He was strong as an ox, fearless as a lion, and agile as a leopard. The mere mention of his name made the Philistines tremble, for he slew their warriors as easily as others slew sheep. Once while walking through the fields, Samson heard the terrified squeals of some young piglets. Looking for their mother, he found a ferocious lioness ready to devour them. And so, overcome with righteous anger, he tore the beast apart with his bare hands. Another time, he fought against an entire battalion of Philistine soldiers. When they came against him with swords and spears, he paid them back with their own weapons. With the jawbone of a donkey, he struck down 1,000 men. In those days, Israel had no king, but in Samson they found a judge who ruled by strength. Yet for all his might, Samson had a weakness. One day, he met a beautiful Philistine woman named Delilah. She was lovely to look at and sweet to talk to, but underneath that facade lay a heart of stone. You see, Delilah had a secret agenda. She was sent by the leaders of the Philistines to discover the source of Samson's incredible strength. At first, he was oblivious to her true intentions. They spent many happy hours together, laughing and eating and talking late into the night. But eventually, Delilah began to grow suspicious. Samson told her that his strength came from a special ointment applied to his hair. But after much coaxing, he admitted that was a lie. Actually, his strength came from the fact that his hair had never been cut since birth, and that, according to the Nazirite vow, was his secret. Delilah wasn't satisfied. She wanted more than just his word. So while Samson slept, she got her hands on his scissors and snipped off a lock of his hair. Then she woke him up and asked, "What do I have in my hands?" Puzzled, Samson said, "My hair. Why did you cut my hair?" "I thought I would make a nice little keepsake," she replied with a smile. Little did Samson know this was just the beginning, for as soon as she held that lock of his hair, his strength began to fade. Immediately, the Philistine lords came for him. They bound him in chains and dragged him to their great city of Gaza. There they gouged out his eyes, put him to work grinding grain in their prison. So went the mighty Samson, once a terror to the Philistines, now a broken slave in chains. For some time, all seemed lost. But slowly, Samson began to grow his hair once more, and as it grew, so did his strength. Yet still he suffered greatly, enduring ridicule, beatings, and the pain of grinding grain between his hands. But then one day, while locked in the temple of Dagon, god of the Philistines, Samson did something miraculous. Though blinded and shackled, he walked up to the 2 great pillars that held up the temple roof. Then, with a prayer on his lips, he pushed. The pillars groaned. Slowly at first, then faster and faster, they split apart. With a mighty crash, the temple ceiling collapsed, killing not only Samson, but every Philistine male inside. Samson is remembered as one of the most powerful heroes in Jewish history. He stands for the triumph of good over evil, but also for the importance of humility. For Samson, the greatest threat didn't come from the Philistines or their armies, but from his own weakness for women. His story reminds us that no matter how strong we are, we should never forget where our true strength comes from. And that's the end of part 5. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.